Hi, everyone. It's Monique Alvarez, and we are back for another interview in our The Story That Built Her series. As you know by now, this is where we go way beyond the highlight reel, where we get into the real, powerful, raw stories of women all over the world. This is where we go beyond what we're supposed to talk about and what we're supposed to share to what really changed us, what really defined who we are and why we do what we do today. I am super honored to have B. Jensen with me today. Hi, B. How are you?
Hi, Monique. Good to be here. Thank you for allowing me this moment to share my story.
Absolutely. Well, we are thrilled to hear your story, what you're passionate about, the work that you do in the world. So, um, people often say, well, let's just go ahead and dive in. I'm not going to do a lot of surface level stuff. And what I would like you to share is the story that is on your heart. I always say that there's a story that wants to come through. What's the story that you want to start with today?
I want to share to the world my journey from being a person who's lacking in self confidence, so many self doubts, not sure oneself, to a journey of self discovery where I finally learned to think bravely, act boldly, believe in my own self worth, and really step up and go there and ask and claim for what I want, what I would love, and what I deserve because I've come to the realization that I'm worth it. And I'd love to help a lot of other people who are struggling with self doubts, uncertainty about their own self worth, feeling they're not being valued, recognized, appreciated, or respected, that there is hope because
Mm,
you have the power within yourself to be able to face all the challenges, handle all the setbacks and obstacles that you face in life, and really rise above all of that and really attain your full potential and even attain the life or career that you've always loved and dreamed of. It is possible because you have it within you to let it happen and you deserve it because you're worth it.
mm. I love that, and it really is about what we decide for ourselves, right? I think there's a period of time when every person thinks it's out there.
Yes.
It's waiting for the permission, waiting for the nod, the gold star, and then all of a sudden we realize, oh my gosh, it's me. I can do that for myself. So what I would love to do is hear when do you think the self-doubt started? When did you become aware of it, or what do you think resulted in that? Was this childhood? Was this a key teacher, coach moment? What was it like for you?
Well, how it started, I believe it comes from where I came from. I came from a family of 9 children in a third world country where resources are limited. And there's a consciousness that it's not all about me. Whatever I demand or ask for affects everybody else in the community. In that case, the community is the family. And so there's a consciousness of saying that be careful what you ask for and make sure you're aware and conscious of your demands taking away from somebody else. So it's considered selfish to ask and demand for oneself. I also came from a culture where it's not good to really ask too much attention for yourself because if you really are doing something valuable, people will know it. You don't have to blow your horn or advertise about it. So that's the culture that I grew up with. It's we were trained that it's important to be humble and just be quiet and let people just recognize you for what you're worth without you advertising it. I come to the United States and it's a different ball game. I was carrying that internalized oppression within myself where I feel it's important to respect authority, to wait to be asked, to be wait to be spoken to or to give an opinion. And then I also brought that mentality within me within the workplace. I'm always waiting for somebody's recognition, somebody to tell me that they appreciate me without demanding for it. So I carried this, but as the years go by, after being in the United States for almost 40 years. You know, 3 years ago, I started to have this feeling, hey, I, I feel undervalued, disrespected, and
Mm,
and unrecognized despite the number of years that I've already spent in this organization. Everyone else who was younger,
mm,
probably less experienced, were very clear about what they wanted and had no qualms about asking for what they wanted. And most of the time, they got it, whether it's a raise, it's a promotion, a new title. And so, one day I asked, maybe I can ask boldly my boss if he would sponsor me for a training where I could improve my skill sets and professionally I can grow and personally I can grow. The response I got surprised me. In essence, the message was, what's in it for us? What could you possibly offer? And why should we invest in you? I was devastated. After almost 15 years, you still don't know what I'm worth. You still don't value all the contributions I've given this organization. My first tendency was just to whimper away,
mm.
go to my bedroom and cry my heart out. I even came to a point that maybe I should just quit because after all these years, nobody seems to value what I have to offer. Maybe I'm not worth it. At that moment, though, there was a small voice within me and say, "Oh no, 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 no! You're not gonna let this beat you, okay? Enough is enough, okay? It's time for you to stop waiting for somebody else to really validate your worth. It's time for you to stop waiting for someone else to give you permission or approval or tell you what you're worth. If it's meant to be, it's up to you, be." So I said, I'm gonna beat this. If nobody else wants to invest in me, I will invest in myself because I am worth it. So I decided to enroll in a transformational system and really diligently applied all the principles that I had learned in my life. It involved changing mindsets, my attitudes, overcoming my own negative self thoughts. And after 2 years of really, really implementing these principles, I could see myself change. I could see myself getting stronger within me in terms of saying and articulating what I want and asserting and asking for it. And it also had tremendous impact on my other aspects of my life. I recognize that if I have to improve my health, I'm going to start making a decision to improve my health. And I worked at it. And naturally, my health improved. My relationship with my husband became wonderful. We were able to communicate better. And it's just that things started to fall in place. Things were happening, and then I started to feel that strength come up within me, and I said, "Yeah, I'm worth it. Yes, I can go and go for what I want, and I can go for this." And the best evidence that the system works is that about 2, 3 years of really applying these principles, the same boss who told me 2 years earlier that I wasn't worth investing into, he offered me a promotion. Oh my
I
gosh.
love it.
But you know what? This is what makes it different. I told him this time I'm going to define the terms of this arrangement. Number one, I will only accept this offer if number one, I can work from home.
Mm,
Because for me, being with my husband and family is priority. And that
mm,
gives me the quality of life and balance of work and life that I've always dreamed of. Second condition is I want to be able to coach because that's what I love and I feel that's where I can make the most impact. And the third condition, you better pay me what I'm really worth.
I love
Yes.
it.
And guess what? You know what? He agreed to all the three terms. And after so many years, I finally got the six-figure salary that I deserve. Yes.
Mm,
But
wow.
as I went on in this journey, the more I realized that I have to answer this calling to serve others who have been undergoing the same struggle as I have. I need to get this message out there to the world. That's why I left that company as of last year, and I decided that I will invest my time and energy in building the business called Life and Career Transformation, so I can help individuals and professionals transform their lives to a more empowered lifestyle that's really living the lives and careers they've always dreamed of. And believe me, it's possible. Once you change that mindset that you have and believe in yourself and your own self worth, your dream is waiting for you out there. Just go for it. Because I know I've been through it and it's happened. And I'm living the life now that I truly love and deserve. So that's what I've been through, Monique, and I'm so excited to share this story.
Well, I love this because what your story really illustrates and reinforces is when we do the personal work, when we do the inner work, the
Yes.
outer world changes, it shifts, and also the way people react, respond, interact with us is completely different. The dynamic is different, right?
Yes. Yes.
And yet it only works in that order.
Yes. That's, there's a famous saying from Mahatma Gandhi, like be the change that you want to see in this world. It has to start with us, from our minds and our hearts, and then it comes in our behavior. And I love it. I've been practicing that every day.
Well, I
And it,
think I think what you say is so beautiful and powerful too, because it's available to everyone, right? This isn't for special people or people born in a certain country or a certain background, certain family, certain upbringing. It's available to everyone who's willing to embrace it.
yes, exactly. Yes. And that's why I feel this is important for me to share, because the transformation started from my own mind shift
Mhm.
in terms of my own attitude towards myself, my faith in myself, faith in others, and faith in the world, and the creator that made us masterpieces. We're called masterpieces because we are a piece of the master, and we were meant to be living our life fully the way we were intended to in this world. And so I want to be able to share this transformational journey with those who could use that kind of support.
Mhm.
And that's
You
what my
know,
passion is.
yeah, I can see why, this morning I did a training and I said the most important thing right now in business is to offer the thing that life uniquely and perfectly prepared you for, not something that is adjacent or distant from your actual experience, your actual path and transformation. And that's what I love, is because when you've actually lived it and walked it, it's not hypothetical. This isn't, you know, I've heard it, I've read it, somebody else said it. I know this for sure because I went through it. And so now I can offer it to others.
Exactly, yes. And that's when people ask me what makes your program unique, is it's exactly what I'm saying. This is not theory. I've lived through it and I've seen it work. And
Yes.
and and I feel like there's so many out there still hiding behind the stage and
Mm-hmm.
not being able to really reach their biggest potential. And I think that the drive for me also is sort of life is short, you know, and we come to think of it, I watched this video about, do we want to live the end of our life saying I regret the things I didn't do, or I celebrate the things that I have done, even if they were uncomfortable. Yes, it may be uncomfortable for me to let go of my stable job, but there is a bigger calling out there. There's a world out there that's waiting for that encouragement, for that hope that there's still something better out there for them, waiting for them to open the door of their
Yes.
minds and their hearts.
Yes. To step through it. You know, you brought up something that I think affects a lot of people is
Mhm,
our home and our family really sets the stage for it sort of creates the lens that we view the world through.
mhm,
And when from our earliest memories, it's this idea that there's only so much to go around.
mhm,
And you need to become aware of other people in relation to what you ask for, what you desire, what you want and need.
mhm,
And I think this impacts women more than anyone
mhm.
is
Yes.
this ability. It can be a gift and it can also hold us back in business. This ability to anticipate other people's wants and needs and accommodate those prior to our own. Hmm?
And oftentimes it takes a toll on us because we forget to care for ourselves. And that's part of the process is the importance of taking a moment to really nurture yourself, because it's equally important when you have nothing left because you've drained yourself mentally, emotionally, energy wise, because you've given so much yourself away. You have nothing left to give, and you end up being burned out. And you're right, it's most women have been trained that way to really like think of everybody else, whatever our needs are. And it's like you said, it's a gift because we have the gift of nurturing our families, our loved ones. But it comes to a point when said, I need nurturing too.
Yes. And we do.
And we need the art of saying, family, could I ask this of you to please give me a moment just for me and give me my me time? And it's okay. It's okay because the moment we admit our vulnerability, our limitations, it gives our family a chance to also say, oh, to step up and take care of us. Sometimes we think it's our job to always take care and solve everybody else's problem, but then in the process, we actually deny our own family the opportunity to step up, also harness their potential for giving.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to teach them that simply by admitting I have my limitations too, and
Yeah.
it's okay.
Exactly. We actually aren't superheroes. We're human just like everybody else.
Yes, I
Yeah.
need help too. I need
I need
encouragement.
help. Yes, exactly. Like this morning at the breakfast table, I said, Mama has a full day today. From
No.
morning to evening, I've got a full day. And I
Mhm.
said, so I'm going to write down on this piece of paper the things that I need your help with. And I'm going to ask you guys to handle lunch because I just can't handle lunch. And I wrote it all out on a piece of paper. And you know what? Every single thing has been ticked off. But had I tried to do it all on a day I already had enough to do, I wouldn't be light. I wouldn't be happy. I wouldn't be calm. I wouldn't be fully focused here because I'd be thinking about all those other things that still need to get done. And oh, I have to do it all myself and nobody supports me and, right. All those things. And so it is, it's a matter of going, you know what? Now it's time for me to ask for support. I need support now.
That's
So,
beautiful. Thank you for sharing that, Monique. We kind of become project managers where we delegate assignments.
right.
Our family
Exactly.
members. It's our first actually if first business we have to manage is the business of the family. Who can I delegate this task to?
Exactly. You got to
Yeah.
manage this house. What would you say to the person who isn't practiced in asking for help, asking for what they need? What is a way to get started when you've never voiced your vulnerabilities, your limits? You've never requested help. You've always just, I'll just take care of it myself. I'll just do it myself. What is maybe a first step in being able to transition out of that?
Well, awareness is always the first step.
Mm,
Okay. I bring their awareness to their own patterns of behaving and what toll is it taking on them physically, emotionally, and recognize that. And then once they're aware and have admitted what it is and see it clearly, it's also good to give them a chance to think about how what is it costing them, in terms of the quality of their relationship, the quality of their health, and the quality of their time and freedom. And once they realize that discontentment, if they really admit that, it's also go deeper into the root of the mindset. Where is this coming from? These expectations of being the superhero, the one who has all the answers. Where is this coming from? What value do they see in that? And so once you get to understand that, we get to offer them another perspective. Because once they see that it's costing them so much health wise, relationship wise, even their own relationship with themselves, there is that discontentment, awareness of discontentment. And then hopefully, once they understand where it's coming from, offer them the opportunity to say, would they like to find another way? And once they say yes, once they're open to suggestions or new ideas, and that's a cue for you to go in and say, what if you look at it in a different way? Okay. So the idea is really sometimes some of our rooted behavior is really starts from the way we think, what we believe. Just like I did, I had belief systems that kept me from moving forward at work. We have to revisit that and then challenge those belief systems in times in helping them to say, what's another way of looking at it? Okay, how uh, what is another way that you could tell yourself that is serving what you would prefer? And so also make them aware that there are different perspectives that could work. And then the other way also is to deep down inside, each of us has a discontentment with our current circumstances that maybe once we become aware and are honest enough to admit it, help them also identify what is it that they would long for and really love. Because once they have a vision of that they would love, and once they realize it's possible to
mm,
carve a path towards what I would really prefer, what I would really love, how I'd like things to be, then give them a snippet of what it could feel like. Give them a taste of what it could feel like. Because I think that's once you plant that seed of hope, it's amazing how it could really change people and say hunger for more of that what they long for, and then they start craving for it and finding ways to really pursue that. And so it's really revisiting their thought patterns that affects their feelings about themselves and others and circumstances, and it affects the way they behave. So once the awareness is raised, I think it could go a long way in terms of motivating them to say there's a different way that is far better, far more joyful, more fulfilling than you have realized. And would you like to walk that way? There's a
mm.
detour that you can take.
I love that because this is, and I agree with you, awareness is step one, right? If we're not aware of it, I mean, we can't make a change. What I love that you said is if I become aware of what I'm doing now, then I can become aware that there's more than one way to do this, one way to approach this.
Yeah.
So if I was no longer doing it like this, what's another way I could do it?
Yes.
And then
Yes.
all this starts opening up. Yeah.
Yes. 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 And also most people are afraid when that new door comes in because it's scary. As somebody called it, we tend to go to our emotional home, where even if this current situation is painful and sometimes it's something I know. I'd rather deal with something I. What's a joke that I'd rather
Like,
deal with the enemy I know than the enemy I don't know.
exactly.
So they tend to withdraw back to the old patterns because they're afraid. That's why the support system in this journey is very important, because it's a
Yes.
constant encouragement is what they need. And I think, isn't that what we're all here for? To be a constant source of encouragement for one another. And it's very important. Like, when I realized this, that this is my calling, or what, there were three incidents that happened, and it's all part of me being in a journey in a train station. And
Mm,
those three incidents affirm that this is my calling. This is what I'm supposed to do, accompany people in their journey. Because in all those three incidents, I ran into three strangers. The commonality of this, I'll describe one, and then I'll share the commonality of all this. I sat in the train station next to where I use a cane, so I sat with a lady who was also in the same seat, and I said, "Can I share this handicap chair with you?" And she said yes. And then before we knew it, we started to share stories about our struggles physically. And then 20 minutes into the train ride, I found her crying and pouring her heart out to me, complete strangers. And then the only thing I could do was to listen and to assure her that things are not so bad. There's got to be a better way of looking at this. And at the end of that journey, that didn't end there. We're still in touch with each other. But I realized it could be a stranger who just needs somebody to listen to and pour out their heart's burdens to. Okay. And this is not the first time it happened on a train. There was another lady from South Africa. She entered the elevator with her cane, and she started crying. And I said, "Why are you crying?" "I'm in New York City hoping to be a dancer, and here I am with a sprain, and I know if my dreams have gone down the drain. I don't have family support or anything." And before we knew it, we sat in the corner of the train station in New York City with all the traffic buzzing up back and forth. And I told her, could we spend a moment where we could pray together just to strengthen you? And we prayed. And after that, she said, "Thank you. This is all I need to keep going with my dream." And I said, I'm here if you want to call me. He said, "No need. You've given me enough. That's all I needed, that I could still keep going." And this is so important. Never miss a moment to give even a smile, a word of advice, and encouragement to someone. It starts first with your own family, and then it expands to your neighborhood, your community, and even strangers, because I think we're all connected. It- We're
so
all
true.
spirits. Yeah, spirits with human experience that we share.
We're not really strangers, right?
Yeah. No, no, we're all connected.
We're all connected.
Yeah.
Yes, I love that because it's true. Life will confirm and affirm who
Yes.
we are, why we're here, and we will continually be put in these situations, these encounters where the right people come into our path, we come into their path, they come into ours, and we get those reminders of this is what actually matters. This is what fills my heart. This is what fills my soul. This is what makes life feel good.
Yes.
It's beyond ticking off all these boxes and checklists and climbing ladders and achieving things. Like, this type of connection is what reminds us of, like, oh yeah, that's why we're all here together. This is what we're up
Yes.
to.
Yes. That's why I thank you for this opportunity to tell the story, Monique, because it's so important.
Mhm.
In fact, I have one more story, but I don't know if we have time for it.
Yeah, go ahead. Why not? We're already here.
I recently came back from my country because I had an emergency call that my sister's cancer had spread to her brain,
Mm.
and she was going to undergo brain radiation. the whole brain, not just one laser spot. I was crying my heart out, and I was so scared. I was so worried about her, and I told her I might the earliest reasonable ticket I could get is March 15th. And she said something like that might be too late. She didn't even say it. My other sister told me, because she couldn't talk, she couldn't walk, she couldn't eat. And so I grabbed the next available one, flew there at the end of February, and went there. Again, even in our own families, one member could be at the point of desperation and discouragement. She had given up hope. She was already making plans about her funeral arrangements about taking care of her children and all that, because she had given hope that she would never recover. And I live, one of my number one value is my faith, and I reminded her that prayers are always powerful. So I reminded her, let's pray together. And the whole family prayed together. And then every day we prayed. And then I also gave her another way of looking at things. Okay. So I shared with her and saying, one of our sisters actually encouraged her and said, if you regain your speech, regain your ability to eat and talk and walk, I promise you a free trip to Greece with you and your daughters. Talk about giving her motivation. And so I told her, said, look at things differently. Imagine yourself already totally well, walking, even if you're walking slowly, you're holding hands with your daughters, enjoying the breeze from the ocean in Greece, and enjoying the fish, the fresh fish that come from the shore, and having good laugh and having wine, and you know, going at all this cute looking gentlemen around you, great men around you, and then and really just having a good time. Isn't that what you would love? And she nodded her head and said, imagine this every day happening to you. And with all that motivation and the love, and and that we surrounded her with, the last, when I finally left and had to come back, the last video they showed me of her was she was determined to walk. So this time, although she in the beginning when I was there, she was trying to use the walker. The video they showed me is that she is walking slowly by herself without the nursing aid helping her. And yes,
Wow.
yes, recovery is possible with shifting the mindset, shifting the belief system, and just believing that miracles can happen, good things can happen ahead. And that was, and the other shift also I decided was that, am I willing to leave the business behind? Yes, no second thought about it, because family comes first. Faith and family comes first. And that was just a very clarifying moment for me to really, the moment you align with those values, nothing else matters. And there's such peace within you. And I'm saying, oh my God, I was there, didn't have to answer any emails or attend any trainings, just be present with my sister.
Yes.
And miracles do happen. It's
Mm.
possible.
Thank you for sharing that, B. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's true. You gave her a shift in perspective. You gave her something to look forward to, a new vision to
Yes.
cast, to look into, to walk towards, literally, and figuratively. So, B, where can people learn more about you and the work that you do?
They can check my website. It's life-career-transformation.com. I can also be reached at just my name, B, at life-career-transformation.com. And can I give my phone number too, if they want
Sure.
to? It's 551-697-5617. And if you contact me and you tell me it's from Monique, I can give you a free gift on how to create abundance in your life. Just simple reminders every day to create abundance in your mind, in your heart, and around you every day.
Beautiful. B, thank you so much for being brave enough to come on and share your story. I know that you're also going to be writing your story in one of our upcoming books. So thank you for realizing that your story and your journey wasn't just for you, but it's for so many more.
Yes. And Monique, thank you for what you're doing, for helping us find our voice and helping us to transmit the message to a wider range of audience who can really benefit. This is really very helpful, and I'm grateful for this blessing and opportunity. May you continue to reach more people who have more stories to share
Thank
and
you.
expand their reach. So thank you for what you do.
It's my pleasure. I want to remind everyone that your story is powerful. And whether it's an individual on a train ride or on social media or in a book, we would love to champion your story. We'll put links below. And until next time, here's to shifting the perspective. Maybe there's another way to see this. All right, until next time, bye everyone. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Monique.